Oh, wow. Guys, Kamala Harris blamed me and Andrew Tate for her loss. Let's go. The voices that filled the void belong to Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, and others who grab attention with get-rich or fitness content, then deliver arguments that feminism is damaging to masculinity and women need to know their place. Boys, we fucking did it, man. We fucking did it, boys. We kept the female president from taking power. Let's go.
Okay, before I say what I gotta say, I gotta give out my usual disclaimers. I don't support Trump. I never voted for Trump. With that being said, and I will be honest, I didn't vote for Kamala either. I didn't think nothing. I personally thought like this whole election thing is a joke. And it's not really against Kamala, it's more or less the system. I don't think the system works for this generation no more. And I feel like we're always gotta pick between two people that we didn't want. And I don't think ever the right person gets picked. So with that being said, I know a lot of people are going to talk about, well, if you didn't vote, then you probably don't have an opinion. I always disagree with that because, like I said, ever since the COVID thing and when Joe Biden won, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad that Joe Biden won, but at the same time, I also feel like nothing was done during that era. But the fact that like it took us a month for us to figure out who our president was, I didn't like that. Like we waited in 2020 during the COVID, we waited a whole fucking month to figure out who the president is, and then get to a point to where 2024, where Donald Trump, even though he was convicted as a felon, was still able to run for president. And yet, here we are as Trump is president, and the whole debacle with him and Joe Biden, in my opinion, it was just a clown show. So it wasn't really that I didn't want to vote for a black woman. It's just that I think the system needs to be changed, and I don't want to support in a system that I don't want to vote for a system that I don't support in. So take that how as you will. With that being said, there was times where I felt like Kamala Harris could have won that election. Now, this only reason I'm saying this because Myron and Andrew Tate, she wrote in a book that like people like Myron and Andrew Tate are the reason she didn't get the male vote. Now, she's not wrong, but at the same time, I feel like there was more to it than that. And this is coming from outside. For one, she only had about 3 months to prepare. I think everybody know that. And like, Biden took too long to just like wonder if he was even fit enough to run. And then once you saw that first debate and Joe Biden didn't look like he was nowhere to go, I think people just had to pull that plug. It was just like, oh no. In my opinion, you should have been pulled that plug. I've seen him lately. He looks healthier now than he was, because I think being a president does take a toll on your body. Look what it did to Obama. That man went from a full black hair to he was like salt and pepper, and looked like he was like aging. And the same thing with Joe Biden. He looked like someone that was functioning to someone that looked like he was about to die. So I do feel like being a president does take a toll on yourself and your body. With that being said, I did say, and my videos go back then, I did say one of Kamala Harris' biggest ops were conservative black men. I am not a conservative black man. I'm more or less in between. Days I could be liberal, days I could be conservative. But even then, I knew that her biggest ops was going to be conservative black men. So I already knew that's about 20% of the black men population. So that was already out. So her getting about 77 to 80% of black votes, I knew that it was going to be around that era, because Joe Biden had about 85. He had about 85 conservative black votes or some shit like that. So I already knew that like at least she's going to get at least 80% of the black man's vote, and what she did. Now, and it's been already said, because a lot of people well, you didn't vote, so that probably wouldn't help. If she would have got 100%, and people done said this before, if she would have got 100% of the black vote from both genders, she still wouldn't have won. And this is where we also get into it, because like other male voters didn't win. Now for Biden, and then it's always been like 50-50 for everything else. Black people, we know who we voting for. We was like, we not voting for Trump, but the Latinos was voting for the Trumps. The other races was voting for Trump. Other races or women was voting for Trump. White women was voting for Trump, and which I don't even think white women was voting for Hillary too. So it's just like another thing. So you could say the system in which you are correct, because I don't think Kamala's wrong, but also think there's other things, which is the system. I don't think the system was ready, nor do I think no one is ready for a woman president, especially a black one. But I do think we would get a black before we get a white one. It's weird. I think we would get a black one before we get a white one, but I also think that even though Hillary won the popular vote, and I think people forget that Hillary won the popular vote, but I still think we might get a black one before we get a white woman president. A black woman president first, and then a white woman president. I can be wrong, but I feel like that's where it's going. Also, what else did I feel like there was a time where I did think she had an advantage, and that was during the debate, in which I think she slaughtered Trump in that debate. Where I mean, the most thing you could, I think she was on point, but as Trump was like, he was like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, and all that other stuff. But I think people was just like, okay, something might be the fuck wrong with Trump. I did feel like she had an advantage there, but I also feel like she didn't take advantage of that then enough. And the fact that someone like Candace Owens was like, who I call white supremacy's teacher's pet, she had to like do a documentary about Kamala Harris lineage, because the whole thing about is she black or not, what race she is, and all that other stuff. I feel like it really did hurt her campaign. And I personally said that shit should have been deaded like the first week. To prove your lineage about your black, because she was like black and Indian, but most people was like, is she really black? Because is she really Indian, or is she really black or not? And that was like a whole thing. Now, which leads to my next thing of why I believe that Kamala Harris didn't win. Her campaign was trash, and again, I think she would have had more of the undecided votes if she'd have ran a better campaign. And it was obviously she was trying to get the celebrities. She had, and I love these artists. Like, she had Glorilla up there. She had Megan Thee Stallion up there. Megan Thee Stallion twerking. I was like, that's not a good look. I think even and before y'all get on me, black women were saying this too. It was like, it's not a good look. It didn't feel like you was taking it seriously. Again, I don't mind you having those, but I'm not using Megan to perform. And I understand like why she performed bodies. It was just, you know, it was for a woman's body, but I don't think she was the right person to do that. I think you would have had someone like a Killer Mike, or someone that's more savvy for your campaign. I feel like that would have more or less worked. Someone like a Killer Mike, because I feel like Killer Mike would have helped your demographic out. Also, what else? She had Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift really didn't do much. She had Beyonce. Beyonce didn't do much. Again, like, you already had the black vote, even though there was people like very skeptical about if you even black or not. There's a lot of women like you know, that still was on your back. Unfortunately, 92% of black women, you already had that vote. And then it's just like, you had credentials of being a black woman. You went to Howard, and this is me. I just felt like she wasn't really someone that was very personable, or like you really didn't get to know who she was. You knew her resume, and a lot of people say, yeah, she was very qualified. So was Hillary, and she didn't get voted. And it's just like sometimes it takes more than just being qualified for a job. This is why I go to Barack Obama, and I had this argument with his friend. I was like, Barack Obama was a very charming individual, and he spoke to the people. And he gave people hope. He was the one thing he was trying to do was give people hope. He was speaking to the people. And to me, I was like, he was very charming. He was you saw him everywhere. So it's just like you saw him everywhere. You know that people was going to vote for him. It's like Trump. And I say this again, I do not support Trump. I never supported Trump. Trump was going after the youth. He was going on people like Aiden Ross's channel. He was going to like young voters and he was talking to all the people. That's why you had those blacks for Trump. That's why you had those Latinos for Trump, Asians for Trump, and those MAGA hat people, because he was more personable to people. And then plus, the assassination attempt, I felt like that. I knew then. I was like, and then he just stood there and put his fist up. I was like, you might want to wrap that shit up, B. That's when I was like, you might want to wrap that shit up. But even then, I still felt like Kamala had a chance where like she could have took advantage. But I don't feel like people really knew who the fuck she was. I don't think she made herself like real personal. Like even her being a character on Saturday Night Live, and I know that helped a little bit. But at the same time, like, what do you know about, and I tell people all the time, what do you know about Kamala Harris? There's name one fact about Kamala Harris that would stick to you, and then like other than like she went to a HBCU, and she was other than like she went to a HBCU, like most black men, when they say something about Kamala, it was about how she was locking up black men in LA or something. And like I said, she wasn't really on a good foot with most black men anyway. So again, you have that. But the other men, like the white men, the Latinos, like you had to bring Obama out. And Obama was just like, he had this like, yo, and I say this all the time, Obama had this just like, I'm doing this so people can get off my back. Could you please vote for Kamala, please? Just so they leave me alone and I can go back to doing tours. I always make that joke, but I always feel like that's how he felt, like he was obligated to do it. But and then again, I know a lot of people they wanted Bernie. But I think we also realized Bernie is old as well. But a lot of people really wanted Bernie. I feel like Bernie would have been a better candidate. But Joe Biden felt like he could ran. And then once, people was like, sit your old ass down. Kamala's going to take over. It's just like they tried to do the best they did for 3 months. But it's not much you can do. And that's what I'm going to say about that. But I think, honestly, that's all I feel like I got as much out of there. Like, don't get me wrong. If you feel like Andrew Tate and Myron did a number on why you didn't get voted, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say you're wrong. If anything, you might be right, because they did have influence on a lot of male audience. So I can see you saying that. I don't think she's wrong about that. And from what it looks of it, I haven't looked at the video yet. My friend sent it to me. Myron and Andrew Tate, they're like happy about that. They're like, shh, thank you. But and because they are conservative people, so they're gonna take that as a badge of honor. But I also feel like there was other sorts of reasons why she didn't win. And those were my reasons. If you think I'm right or wrong, just let me know. But I've had these arguments. I still feel like she had a chance to win, but I just feel like she just couldn't close the deal. And that's why it was such a fucking landslide. Because that that shit was an ass whipping. I'm not gonna lie. And I hate the fact that she had to go through that, because she should have had more time. But I also feel like her campaign failed her as well, and that's really what I feel like. But let me know what you guys think. Today, my name is Oscar. I'm out. Peace.